Tyler Oliveira recently investigated an area in Northern California known as Murder Mountain. This is where a lot of marijuana is grown in the Emerald Triangle, and there's also a abnormally large amount of missing people.
There's people that get locked in cages in the woods and starve to death almost.
We have more crime than New York City and LA combined.
You better stick with someone native around there because they will take you out.
Murder Mountain, a remote area of California where hundreds of people disappear without a trace every year.
Before California legalized weed in 2016, countless illegal weed farms went wild in Humboldt, Trinity, and Mendocino County in this area known as the Emerald Triangle.
I made a video on my main channel, Sling and Stone, where I looked into some of the theories surrounding all the missing people in Humboldt County. Obviously, the majority of them are due to them being involved with the marijuana business. Obviously, that's a large part of it, but also with this kind of crime and with evil being in a specific place, but that also brings other forms of evil into the area. And there is some suspicion as to some supernatural forces. We'll look into one guy within this video who claimed that he saw a Wendigo in that area, which is a demonic fallen evil entity. But we'll also look into a strange occurrence that happened in this video where multiple people were referencing that cannibalism was going on in the region, and for some reason no one looked further into it.
We were talking to a gentleman out there about Murder Mountain, and he got pretty aggressive immediately. What's going on with that?
It's not over yet. I thought it was over.
Murder Mountain?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. How much of it's fiction versus fact.
Yeah, I don't call it Murder Mountain. I call it Adultery Point.
Okay.
Have you heard of anybody going missing lately or any bodies being found along the river? Have you seen Bigfoot by chance?
Yes, all three actually.
Tell us a little more.
My main thing is that there's a bunch of dead animal carcasses. As far as humans, you always find out with humans. I mean, we keep track of our people. And then it just seemed to progress. Every time you go in the supermarket, it seems like there's fresh meat, And then that freaks you out, like, is it humans also that are,
The meat was a little sweet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I've traveled the world. I've met thousands of people from all walks of life, from every corner of the globe, and I can't shake the feeling that that woman was a cannibal back there. It's...
All right, cut.
So at first, after hearing that, you might think, well, maybe that lady's kind of crazy. She doesn't really know what she's talking about. Maybe she just has some strange theories about what's going on in that area. Obviously, a lot of evil is going on there. And so, people come up with their own theories. But then oddly enough, the same thing is mentioned 2 separate times by different people later on in this video.
For a long time, I actually grew up over in Bell Springs, or worked over in Bell Springs, up in the mountain. I actually heard rumors that some of this started happening way back in the 80s. There was actually some people that were murdering people up in the hills, but they're actually cannibals too. And they were way up there, and there was actually some cannibalism going on.
What's the craziest thing you guys have heard about here?
That Ryan Tanner pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't there cannibalism?
I don't know about cannibals, but
Tell me about Ryan Tanner.
he at least killed one friend of ours for sure.
Serial killer out here or what?
Supposedly, yeah.
Here's some statistics in relation to the missing people in Humboldt County, where this Murder Mountain location is, as well as just right in the center of the Emerald Triangle with all of this going on there. An average of 717 people per 100,000 go missing in Humboldt County every year, giving it the highest per capita missing persons rate in the state. I saw in relation to other statistics in California, it's like 314 or something for the average. So it's almost double of the missing people percentage in Humboldt County. And again, a lot of this is for sure tied around the fact that there is this marijuana businesses going on in the area. And there's a few Bible verses that I want to read in relation to that, because I think that's the best way to understand what exactly is going on here and how to be safe from it, really. Proverbs 13:20 says, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." And sadly, when you look through these different areas in Humboldt County, you just see pictures of missing people all over the place. And when you go and you start hanging out with a companion of fools, the likelihood that you will suffer harm rises dramatically. So also there's the theories that people mention that people are that people are going missing due to supernatural entities. There's a interesting documentary called Sasquatch, where there was a story going around that same region of California where there was a Sasquatch that went and killed people on a weed farm somewhere. Now, that area of California has a long history of Sasquatch sightings, all when you drive all throughout the region. They even mention it in this video here. When you drive throughout the region, there's Bigfoots and Sasquatches all around there. Even the lady in the laundromat said that she encountered one as well. And another guy that they were interviewing who was talking about all the dangers of the region kind of made a strange reference, saying that he lived in a part of the mountains that they called the Witch's Kitchen, and he also saw a Wendigo entity there. For anyone who doesn't know what the Wendigo is, it's said to be a malevolent spirit that's sometimes depicted as a creature with human-like characteristics, oftentimes wearing antlers and some sort of animal skull. But what I found oddly enough is when you look into this entity as well, is that it says that when people are possessed by this thing, they get the desire to eat humans. And there's also in psychiatry a disorder known as Wendigo psychosis, which is characterized by symptoms such as intense craving for human flesh and fear of becoming a cannibal. So I thought this was pretty weird that this was mentioned 4 separate times in this video in this region. I've never even heard of this, and I don't know what to really make of it all, but here's the guy saying that he saw this entity.
How is life up here? We've heard a lot of legends and myths and craziness.
There's some, I used to live way in the back, on the next mountain.
Okay.
They call it the Witch's Kitchen, and there's some really pretty here. I see this thing called the Wendigo.
You've seen the Wendigo?
Yes.
Can you tell me how it looked? I've heard of the Wendigo.
It's really huge. It had wore a deer skull on its face, and it was really gnarly.
This is a pretty strange occurrence that cannibalism was brought up like 4 times in this video within different regions of Humboldt County, something I haven't really heard of before. And again, I don't really know what to make of it, but there is so much strange things going on there. There's supposed supernatural encounters, which is what I believe the Sasquatch is, for sure. The Wendigo, all of these things, UFOs, sightings there of that as well. But I think the most important thing to pull out of this whole manner and out of this whole subject is what the Bible has to say about who you spend your time with, because so many people, when there was so much money to be made there from growing weed illegally, went to the Emerald Triangle, and then they got mixed up with these people, and that's where the majority of all these missing people and these tragic cases come from, hanging out with the wrong people. And so there's a few Bible verses, just like Proverbs, when we read, that was important, but also some other ones that give us great wisdom into this. Psalm 1, verse 1, blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers, as well as 1 Corinthians 15:33, do not be deceived, evil company corrupts good habits. And I think that's the most important thing to take from this. You spend time with wise people and doing the things that the Bible says, then you have a lot better chance to be safe from dangerous situations. So let me know what you think in the comments. Have you heard anything on this subject? Definitely pretty strange that it's brought up so many times. Thanks for watching. I hope you're well. God bless.